Hello everyone. Good evening, and this is Gisha Sridhar on behalf of ARPR Events for the webinar on emerging trends in AI and technology. Before we begin, let me tell you a few things about ARPR Events, which was found on December 12, 2023 by a passionate group of friends with a shared vision to honor excellence in the fields of education and professional development. The founding members, Mr. Krishnamurthy, pharmacist, Mr. M. Govindan, public relations officer, Mr. Manoharan, admission consultant, Ms. M.V. Malaimagal, Vital Skills Square, founder and corporate trainer, and finally, Mr. Salai Selvan, CMA practitioner, are longtime academic friends with a strong bond rooted in their commitment to societal growth through education and recognition. Since its inception, ARPR Events has successfully conducted multiple impactful events. Sci-Edu Awards 2024 on 25th February 2024. CEM Edu Awards 2025 on 2107-2024. Sci-Edu Awards 2025 Edition 2 on March 2nd, 2025. Webinar series, which is what we're doing right now, ongoing knowledge sharing platform, including today's insightful session. These events were made successful with the continuous support of well-wishers, partners, and academic contributors. A heartfelt thank you to all our supporters for standing by our journey. Looking ahead, we are excited to announce the upcoming CEM Edu Awards and Conclave 2025, second edition, tentatively scheduled on 27 July 2025. We look forward to recognize more change makers and fostering collaboration in education and professional domains. Now, let me give you a simple reason on why we in general need to attend webinars. Now, it is something that has been a part of our lives, especially we as students and young professionals. Firstly, learning beyond classrooms. Webinars connect us directly to industry experts, researchers, and thought leaders. In just an hour or two, we gain insights that could take years to learn through textbooks. Secondly, we have good networking opportunities. Even though webinars are virtual, they still allow us to meet people from different parts of the world. One good question you can ask at the end of a webinar could lead to a great correct connection or even a career opportunity. Third, we have good exposure to real-world trends. Technology and industries are evolving very fast. Webinars help us to stay updated and relevant, whether it's the latest in AI, marketing, engineering, or public speaking. And lastly, building a growth mindset. By attending webinars, we show that we are curious, willing to learn, and ready to step out of our comfort zones. Qualities that will always set us apart. Overall, in short, attending webinars isn't just about adding certificates to our resumes. It's about adding value to ourselves. Now, without further ado, let's begin with the first speaker of our day. This is a national level webinar in association with CSI Mumbai chapter and IET Chennai local network, CLN. Please help me invite our first speaker for this webinar, Dr. R. Murugan sir, who is the Associate Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering from NIT Silchar, Assam. He will be gracing us with the topic Computer-Aided Diagnosis, a Research Insight. Please help me welcome him with a big round of applause. The stage is yours, sir. Sir, kindly unmute, sir. You're on mute.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for the introductions. And I also, good evening, one and all present here for this virtual platform. And also given the opportunity to share my thoughts in this wonderful forum. Let us share my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, so thank you. The today which we are going to talking about the topic, the computer aided diagnosis, generally, a research insights. Yeah, so the audience which I like to impress you, especially in the computer aided diagnosis perspective, as you know, the computer aided diagnosis in general, it's a part of actually, yeah, medical imaging diagnosis, right? So the subtopic which we can short, we can call it as enhancing medical imaging with artificial intelligence. Of course, this subtopic which we aligned with the computer aided diagnosis. Yeah, so let us start with what is computer aided diagnosis, like what we can understand from the basic perspective of the computer aided diagnosis. Let us see, the computer aided diagnosis, in short, the CAD, is generally, it is a system with the help of computer that a researcher can able to make it, and the developed system generally to assist the doctors. So why the particular system is assisting to the doctor to interpret medical images, right? So the whole framework which we used to call actually computer aided diagnosis. So why the computer aided diagnosis is necessary, and how it will be assisting to the doctors, like generally to improve the diagnostic accuracy. So how we can clearly understood this word diagnostic accuracy is that, say for example, we have some issues in our human body. So generally, like we'll visit the doctor, it depends on the problem what we have been occurred in our human body. So the doctor will suggest any of the radiological platform, then we'll acquire the image, then will finally the screening will be taking place, then finally we'll get the suggestions. According to the suggestion, the treatment mechanism that will be played. So here the issue comes is that, like, if the decision from the the screen or the radiological report, which is depends on the expertise of the medical practitioners. Say for example, if we have a very a critical case, and we generally will feel, or we can consult with the experienced doctors, right? So the experienced doctors, they have a lot of experience to analyze the report, and finally will get the findings. So here the thing is that, like, suppose we have a very less experienced doctors, and the particular patient is not properly satisfying their the clinical decision. Of course, what we used to do, we'll go for the second opinion. So in that way, what happened, so if you, before getting into the doctor's consultation, if you use any of the computer aided diagnosis, obviously it will help to improve the accuracy of it. In addition to that, the CAD is also reduces the workload because we require less manpower, and finally it also enable the early detection, for getting appointment of the doctor, and going into the consultation, we'll spending a lot of money. Better we'll go for some early diagnosis with the help of the computer aided any of the tools, then obviously it will help the patients to understand in the early stages of any of the disease what they have. So this is the very fundamental understanding about the computer aided diagnosis. If you look at the overall framework of this computer aided diagnosis, which is clearly mentioned in this diagram, so generally, the patients in general which we are going, so it will consult to the clinicians, and the clinicians will use any of the computer aided diagnosis. So inside the computer aided diagnosis, so what are the technical platform, the technical idea that we'll need to do in general. So it is depends on the the input, or we can say the scan or any of the radiological report what we have. So we have to use any of the fundamental technique. So which include, we can do some pre-processing, we can do the feature extraction, then finally we can go for some classification. So all these steps are, sometimes it may mandatory, or sometimes we can skip also. Then finally what we'll get the automatic diagnosis. So based on the diagnosis, the treatment and the rehabilitation techniques that will be varying. So this is the overall understanding about the computer aided diagnosis. Now, why computer aided diagnosis is required, and what is the, the existing issues in, especially in the medicinal framework. Now, if you look at, of course, the computer aided diagnosis is totally on, the automated platform. We can use to call a automatic techniques, right? Then what is the problem in the existing? Generally, in any medical practitioners, they will use the manual diagnosis, right? So in manual diagnosis, there are many problems that we used to face. So what are the problems that we used to face in manual diagnosis? It is clearly mentioned in this particular slide. You can able to understand it. Number one is the time consuming. Like, it will take a lot of time to read, to understand the particular report, then we'll take the time decision. And the second problem which comes under is the labor intensive. So we require a lot of labors, like, which include, not only a doctor but also, the other supporting manpower, which will be primarily in the hospital side. So that is also a problem. And also, which is coming into the clinical application, like, in any hospital we have to face a large scale of population, right? So out of which we have to take the appointment, and we need to face in the long queue, then only we'll get our final, the decision from the doctors. So apart from that, we have a lot of others, like, the task, complicated task, and it will, sometimes it may get wrong decision, like, some in additional, the problem that will also generally will face, right? So to overcome this all manual diagnosis, so the people are generally developed a computer aided diagnosis. Now, if you look at the history and the evolution of the computer aided diagnosis, it starts from 1950s itself. Like, if you look at this scale, you can clearly understand. But the most of the, the earlier works from 1950 to 60, in the 10 years there are in the, only the development stage. But when the AI is coming into the picture in 1956, actually the CAD is getting popular. Then what happened in the 4 years? The first CAD tool that has to be, invented in 1960. Then it will helpful for the classification of lesions. Then again, people are working with so many universities and so many research lab. Then they also, like, invented the another version of, diagnosis CAD, like in 1980. Like, the 20 years, there are a lot of inventions happen in CAD. Then in 90s, what happened when the machine learning algorithm is booming to the picture, especially for the classifications of medical image. So again, the CAD is, like, developing like anything. Most of the CAD that will be started in 1998 itself. Then again, 2006, we all well aware, many deep learning algorithm is getting emerged. Then of course, the deep learning is still ruling in the medicinal framework, especially for the development of computer aided diagnosis tools. So this is the whole history and evolution. So now people are, almost using the deep neural network, and especially, for developing a graph neural, developing a computer aided diagnosis tool. Now, to understand the whole workflow of the CAD, like, in general, what we used to do, like, with the help of the image, or with the help of, the X-ray, or we can say any of the imaging modality what we have acquired in the hospital. So that will actually the primary input of our the CAD tool. So if you have any input image that we can consider either X-ray, MRI, CT or anything which you can take, then what happens once the image is acquired, then based on the nature of the image what we have acquired, then we need to pre-process the particular image. Why we need to pre-process? The image has to pre-process based on what the algorithm we generally will expect. Suppose the image while acquiring they have some noise, then what happen? Before processing into the image, we need to remove the noise. So then only the image will quality will be better to make it understand by the computer algorithms. So we can do any of the pre-processing. It's general in nature, which I have been given. Then once the image is very clear, then we need to go for the processing. So why the processing is required? Generally, like in the image is contain n number of informations. So out of these informations, we in image processing we used to call feature extraction. Feature means what they have inside. We have to extract all the features, then the features which will be visualized and present, then finally the features can validate based on the assessment. Okay, so we have acquired or we have obtained the feature from the information. And finally, what we'll do with the help of this image, either we can, go for the extraction in one fold, or we can segment some portion from the image in the second fold, or sometimes we can take the direct decision from the third fold, right? So these are the common workflow generally. Yeah, CAD, any CAD framework generally will able to propose it. Now, now we clearly understood about what is CAD and what are the how the workflow is generally happened, and all the fundamental perspective that we have been learned. So now, what is the application of CAD? Where actually the CAD is going to utilize? That is also a primary importance for us, to carry forward if any of the research in future. Like in this particular context, if you look at the different applications of CAD, which you can see here, many disease and almost in all the disease we can able to diagnosis with the help of CAD. Say which include, if you look at any cancer detection, or if you go for any eye related disease like diabetic retinopathy, or sometimes if you go for any heart related disease, cardiovascular disease, or we can go for any of the neurological disorder which include Alzheimer, Parkinson, emphysema, like all these type of diseases generally will able to diagnose this with the help of the CAD. So what we can understood not only for the disease diagnosis, but also if you look at the picture, the CAD is also diversified in other applications as well, which include smart health record and personalized medical treatment, and also the drug discovering and manufacturing and many more. Right. So the application is large scale, and of course the CAD is ruling the entire medical community in the last 20-25 years, especially after the invention of the deep learning algorithms. Now, this is very important point to us to learn, like how the CAD, what are the techniques generally we use in the CAD, right? So, as I said, in the evolution of the CAD, it is kickstart from the initial invention of the AI. But what happened? Still, when the technology is growing from one to another in every year, so the CAD is, also, we have effectively utilizing all these algorithms, all the techniques. So, which you can see here, like it will initially the CAD is started from the AI, then it will convert into the machine learning, then it will coming into the deep learning algorithms. But now what happens is that now the deep learning technologies are outdating day by day, and now the people are using graph based analysis, which is called a graph neural network. So why the graph neural network is generally existing in the recent time? The problem is that deep learning, as many of the technologies are available, the deep learning required a huge amount of data, which required a bunch of data. Then only a deep neural network can able to perform a better way. But here the problem comes, suppose if you have a less amount of data, then what we have to do? Then of course using of the deep learning is quite challenge. That is why the another technology is generally developing in the last 5 years, which is called, we can call it as a graph neural network. So here the graph neural network advantage is that we required only less amount of data, and we required only less computational facility, and that's why we can use this technique for the development of CAD. And moreover, when we are talking about the telemedicine concept in medicine, generally the doctor will be somewhere or a patient may be somewhere, then they can communicate in the cloud platform. So we required a telemedicine consultation, right? So for making a telemedicine consultation, like we required a less computational facility. The people having even the small version, I mean the lowest version of mobile, also they can able to take the consultation. So in that particular context, if your network is very less, then of course all these type of consultations will be possible, of course, with the help of the graph neural network. So very popular techniques, of course, the CAD which you are using. But in all these techniques, generally will taking as the input, either it can be a signal or it may be a image. It is depends on the nature of the disease. Sometimes what happen, some disease they will capture the signal. Suppose if you have a heart issues, what we used to do, we acquire a ECG signal, right? It is a signal. That particular signal we can able to process by the CAD for getting the final outcome. The same way, suppose if you have a disease called an Alzheimer, so what we have to do? So generally we have to acquire the MRI of the particular patient. So it is the image, right? So the image may be a two-dimensional image, maybe a three-dimensional image. Okay, sometimes we have a four-dimensional image as well, right? So this image can be processed by if any of the algorithm, and finally we'll get the outcome. Yes. So we have looked into what are the basic techniques generally will utilize for the diagnosis. So this picture is drawn by me, or we can see this is one of our work, research work, which we have been recently carried out in 2021. Before getting into very detailed, the algorithmic explanation about the AI, and in especially for the use of CAD, first we need to understand the whole framework, like how the image is getting trained by the network, then how the classification is taking place. Now, if you look at this CAD for medical images using AI, this is one of the typical work which you can see here for the purpose of classifying the COVID-19 image into pneumonia and also from the normal. There is a three-class problem. So we need have a couple of images in all the three classes. Then how the whole AI framework is working, it is irrespective of artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, all things are very common. Here what happens is that, so generally if you're talking about the deep learning algorithm. So what happens is that the DL, if you consider the typical convolutional neural network algorithm, so the typical convolutional neural network algorithm, which we have a couple of layers, to extract the feature from the information. Okay, so what happened? The input, the whole data set, which will be you know trained by the convolutional neural network, and once the data is trained, then what happened, then finally we can able to test any of the image, then finally we'll get the classification. So the testing image may be a normal or pneumonia or COVID, whatever it is, then finally we'll get the output in a fraction of a second without consulting any doctor. So what happens is that, so as I said, so this type of initial framework will have a typical sort of early diagnosis. Then what happened? So finally we can able to get it the final result even before consulting a doctor. So this we can say that, so the computer aided diagnosis is one of the uh, preliminary tool that we can take the decisions in a short time. Now, from this understanding about the computer aided diagnosis, which I like to share with you some of the research insights, so which I'm recently working with my research group. Like one is called, we used to call, revolutionary eye care with artificial intelligence. As you know, you have a lot of eye diseases which generally we come across in our day-to-day life, right? So there are plenty of, eye diseases are available, like say, which include cataract, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, and much more. So this disease, and many of them never heard about it. The disease called retinal detachment. So what is this disease? The retinal detachment is called generally. What is the nature of this disease? So as we all know, the retina is actually one of the primary part of our human eye. So this retina is relocated from the original position. That means it is detached from the original position. Then what happens? So the person will gradually lose their vision. You can able to see the first one, the normal vision like this. Once the retina is detached, then what happens? So the vision is getting blurred, and some portion of vision you can unable to visualize, right? And the same thing which we can able to capture with the help of this retinal fundus image. You can see here this portion is totally detached from the original position, like so that the partial vision only the patient ever able to see that. So this is the nature of the disease. So for addressing this disease, so in our research group we actually, very actively working, and this disease you can able to see further, to get more insights. So in the anatomy of the eye, so here the retina is the outer membrane layer, and here once the retina is detached, then what happen? It will be detached from the original position. So this is happen because, you know due to many reasons, maybe the eye pressure, and maybe the effect of diabetic, and many more. Okay, so this disease is one of the very very dangerous disease. And what happen? Without any symptoms, this particular disease may happen. So this is the nature of this particular disease. So we have taken a lot of statistical analysis in this disease, and especially a developing country like India, even for the 1 lakh person, 17.9%, around 18% people are affected by this disease, and all are affected more than 60 to 69 years. So that the elderly people only affecting by this disease. And what are the different types of this retinal detachment? So we have three different types of retinal detachment. One is called rhomotoneous retinal detachment, tractional retinal detachment, and exudative retinal detachment. You can able to see the consecutive image which have been given in this slide for differentiating from one to another. But if you look at the similarity, or the lesions are, almost similar to all the stages. So understanding the disease, and to understand the progress of the disease is also quite difficult by the ophthalmologist, even for the trained ophthalmologist. So we required a computer aided diagnosis to understand the whether the patient is affected by retinal detachment or not, and whether the patient is affected by the the retinal detachment, then what stage they have, right? So we required the computer aided diagnosis. So in that case, so we have contributed well to address this research problem. And coming into the address this problem. So being a medical imaging scholar, we required a data set, right? Then only we can able to address this problem. But to be frank, there is no publicly available data set is available in the initial time. So what we have done, so we have developed our own data set with the collaboration of various hospitals, and the data set is I have uploaded publicly available in the IEEE data port. So the data set name is retinal detachment data set. So which is freely available. You can just search in the IEEE data port. You will get this data set so that you can also able to work in this retinal detachment problem. Okay, so once the data set is developed, then what happened? So what we did, what research we have carried out in especially what type of computer aided diagnosis that we have been developed. So this work which we have been recently carried out in our research team, especially in 2023. So here what happens is that it is the automated total complete analysis CAD. So what happened? So in initial we have a data set. So this data set which will be developed. So here what happened? We intentionally want to use a deep neural network. So here the network architecture is given in the center layer. And as you know, we required a huge amount of data for deep learning. So we have augmented the data. Then finally, we have done the clustering mechanism, like to distinguish between the lesions, the normal lesions into the detachment lesions. Then we'll trained by the network. Then it will given into the BiLSTM architecture for the effective feature extraction. Then we also made optimizations techniques. Then finally to the optimize the parameter, will getting into the classification of from the RD and non-RD, whether the patient is having a retinal detachment or non-retinal with a normal image. So that we have been carried out. So this work is also published in Medical Engineering and Physics Journal. So you can also able to download and you can able to read so that the whole the insights you can able to get it in this paper. And in addition to that, the result is also we have been showcasing in this slide. So with also compared with other techniques like RNN and also a common LSTM, but even our proposed method is given a very good accuracy in this work, and also the receiver operating, AUC is also given a very good result in this. So you can also find the confusion matrix and ROC curve in this slide. So all things, when put together, this particular architecture is performing well in this. You can also find the different comparisons, which will help you to yield to prove our efficient model in a better way. Now, so here the problems which we have faced in the last work is that getting the optimal the parameter during the development of deep neural network. Okay, to address this challenge, so here we have done the hyperparameter optimization of a deep neural network, so to obtain the optimal parameters, so like a training rate, number of epoch, momentum, regularizations, and much more. Then finally what happened? So this will, the last work we have manually carried out, but for this work we have automated the things which with the help of the genetic algorithm. Then finally, we have used the deep learning model for feature extraction. Then also we have used the two different, the model for classification, which include RVFL and ELM. Then out of these two, we'll apply the ensemble technique for majority voting. Then finally, we have classified the techniques. Okay, so this work is also published in a very good journal, Biomedical Signal Processing and Control. So you can also able to find this article in this GUI. So this is the extension of the last work which have been carried out by our team. So these are all the very technical insights, but all these things which have been given in the paper. So you can read out the paper. So finally you will get all the mathematical insights into it. So this result is also very much importance, especially to prove the efficient of the model. So we have carried out many performance and analysis to prove the efficient of the model. So this model is one of our signature model, which we can say, especially in the retinal detachment. So the earlier two which I have been showcasing, these two are based on the deep learning, but this work is for the graph neural network. And also the last two works which have been only the binary class, whether the patient is having a RD or non-RD. But here we have also classified the other stages of the retinal detachment also. So in that way, what we have been used, so we have used very less amount of data. We have done the image into the graph conversion, then the graph is feed into the network, then finally what happened, we'll able to classify automatically, with a short span of time, whether what type of stage the patient is having. So this is one of the very, very signature model which have been developed in 2024 from our research team, and these are all the very technical insights into it and the research. So what we have been done with the help of this model, what we have been developed, so we have also developed the hardware for this particular model, and this model will primarily used for, use the the Raspberry Pi board, and the Raspberry Pi board is having a GUI inbuilt. So the GUI, we have connected the display, and the display, once the image is uploaded from the fundus camera, then automatically the trained network is available inbuilt in this board, Raspberry Pi board. Then you can just test it. You can able to see the result automatically, which type of RD they have. Okay, so this model is also patented in Indian patent, and you can able to see very closely this how it will be working. So you can able to see here. So the Raspberry Pi is available in this the case, and this is the display which are connected with the case. And once you can click browse and you can upload the image, then immediately you can get the output without any doctor interpretation, right? So this hardware setup is a prototype which have been made, and also we are trying to develop our own technical team will develop the PCP, and we are trying to develop our own hardware, dedicated hardware, especially for the diagnosis of this retinal detachment. Yeah, so these are all some of the other glimpses I can like to show you, like how we can use not only for the retinal detachment, but also for the other diseases. Also we have developed so many computer aided diagnosis tool, and all these tools are publicly available, so any doctor or anyone can able to download from the internet. They can use these tools for their betterment. So you can see here we have also developed a COVID-19 tool with the help of generative adversarial network, and we have also used with the help of CT images. Then not only for this COVID-19 retinal detachment, we have also developed a CAD tool for lung cancer detection and classification, which is also there. Then we have also done with multi-objective optimizations and much more, which is available. So it's all, if you want to learn all these CAD tools, which will be available with my list of publications. You can just type in Google Murugan NIT Silchar, the whole web page you will get it, and the paper is also you can able to download it so that you can get some interesting read. So, while coming into the benefit of the CAD, of course, no need to highlight the benefit. We have more benefit include improving the efficiency, and also the reduction of the human error, and also the assistance wherever the few specialists are there. So there, the CAD will be more helpful, and also it will get the faster diagnosis. This is the main benefit. And the challenges in the CAD is some have also there. Say sometimes you'll get some misclassification also possible. Okay, so false positive, false negative will get, and sometimes the data privacy concerns, like if the data is not publicly available, then the problem will come. And large data we require, high quality data resolution is also required. And also the challenge is how the acceptance of the doctor, how they interpret, how they trust in the research. Of course, this is also a challenge. So the conclusion of this particular talk is that the CAD, research insight is that, of course, the CAD is rolling the entire medical diagnosis in the last, almost 40, 45 years. And of course, this will help to, get the faster decision. And also this will help you to collaborate with many doctors, will get the more better healthcare outcomes. And also we are looking the future, CAD technology will be more smarter, and also will be more reliable, and how it will be possible the more smarter and more reliable with the help of the future technology that we I have highlighted in the future direction. So you may heard about explainable AI. Recently the people are working with XAI with for different care, and also they are integrating with telemedicine, then personalized medicine also, and also people are working with real-time diagnosis. Without going into the hospital, in their home itself, the patient will get the result. So in that way, the future direction of care will be there. And of course, if you want to reach me to any, for help for you, either if you want to do PhD, postdoc, or any type of internship in my research team, you can feel free to write. So the mail ID web page is available in this slide. So maybe I can give you some time for queries. And thank you, all of you, for your patience, for listening continuously for the 30 minutes. Thank you, all of you. And yeah, so it's over to you. If you have any queries, if you feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that insightful session, sir. I'm sure the audience, if they have any questions, will give you a few seconds to ask them so we can directly ask Dr. Murugan, sir. By the meanwhile, I would like to thank you for that incredibly insightful session on computer aided design, sir. Your talk gave us a deeper understanding on how CAD has revolutionized the way we design and innovate across different industries, just as you said. And we especially appreciated how you broke down those complex concepts into simple, practical examples, making it so much easier for us to group. Do we have any questions from the audience? Okay, so we don't have any questions. Thank you so much for your time and effort, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you. Next up, we have a versatile scholar who is deeply committed to sharing information. Presently, he holds the position of Associate Professor in Data Science and Business Systems at SRM Institute of Science and Technology in India. He possesses considerably industry expertise gained from his prior positions at HCL and IBM. Outside of the classroom, Dr. Rajkumar Sir plays active role as an adjunct faculty member at the Center for Immersive Technologies. He is dedicated to training, research, development, and authoring. He authored the perceptive book India 2030 and has orchestrated several technical conferences, both domestically and globally. He is well acknowledged for his experience, which is demonstrated by his delivery of keynote talks on technology and skill development across many businesses, institutions, and media platforms. Dr. Rajkumar Sir has a strong passion for strategy and policy development. The focus of his research lies on pioneering fields such as brain computer interface, artificial intelligence, and extended reality. His extensive research has been published in prestigious international publications and showcased at the conferences across the globe. Dr. Rajkumar Sir presently holds the position of Secretary at IET Chennai, LN, UK, which adds another dimension to his profile. He showcases his fervor to his mother tongue, Tamil, by authoring technical essays on cutting edge technology for renowned magazines like as the Manorama Yearbook and the Hindu Yearbook. Dr. Rajkumar Sir's dedication to education, research, and involvement with industry makes him a very important asset in the academic field. Next up, please help me invite Dr. Rajkumar Sir on the topic Gen AI for Educational Transformation. Please help me welcome him.
Okay, hope I am audible. Yes, ma?
Yes, sir, you're
Okay,
audible.
yeah. So I am going with my presentation.
Yes.
And thanks for the inviting and thanks for the introduction also. So we'll speak about the GenAI for education. Hope I am audible, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir, you're audible.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Thank you. So the very first one is, GenAI is the new topic, and many of even from the child, from children are doing some of the great tools. They are using great tools from the GenAI, and there are a lot of every day and every hour there are new tools are developing. So what actually the Gen AI and how actually I'm just concentrating on only on the education and how actually we can develop for the learning and teaching as well as the research. So these are the three things actually I'm going to cover with that. Yes, very first one is whichever it's my PhD, one PhD, how the learning path can be decided. For example, each and everyone has our own learning style. Somebody will learn from early in the morning. Somebody will be learn late in night. Somebody will be learn only the text. Somebody will be learn only in audio. So, as a faculty member from the university in SRM, so I used to do feel lot of difficulties, especially how to teach them in a very right manner. So, if the one-to-one learning is good, okay, so I can deliver whatever the content. So that I'm using the platform for the GenAI, and from the GenAI we can customize the tool. We can customize the material from the various tools. For example, if someone is liking only the audio, so no videos or no slides or no PowerPoints. I will be completely making that whether the PDF or PPT or anything, making as a audio book, and then I will be sharing in a WhatsApp as a MP3 file. So then they can hear that mp3 file, and then they can able to write in your examination also. So the same way, if the someone don't like the audio, they only see the book. But how actually we can customize the book according to the needs? So whatever they know it already, we can give the small assessment, and from the assessment we can know whatever the concept they knew already, and then we can concentrate on whatever they don't know. So then based on the assessment, we can able to customize the syllabus according to whatever they don't know, and then we can deliver the PDF file. So this is the simple example I'm just telling it. The same way, there are a lot of tools are available. We will completely discuss about the tools also today. Yes, and then so as faculty sir, the Murugan sir clearly mentioned that there should be a collaboration for every research as well as for any kind of the learning things, because no one, we don't have the complete knowledge about anything. So how actually we can AI also one of the collaborator. Let's say for example, if you are a good in video making, you can do the making of the video, and then you can give that video making knowledge to the AI, and then AI, instead of you, the AI will do the video afterwards. So that is what the transformation happening from ours to the AI. So whatever we are doing as today, everything is actually done by the, everything done by the AI today. Everything we have already done. So from the human only it is learning, and then it is doing for the AI. So whatever the skill set, for example, if someone want to dance, someone want to learn the dance, so there are new emerging startups are now emerging. So you can learn the dance by using AI. So whatever the movements actually you are doing it, and the AI will take care of whether you are doing the right movement or not, and then it will correct it. It will give the video, the description of whatever the mistake you are done it, and then finally it will correct it. The same way for your language skills. Nowadays there are a lot of tools. If you want to learn a new language, especially Chinese or whatever the new language, based on your pronunciation, it will give the accuracy whether you are rightly pronounced or not. Then it will give the give the notification. No, these are the words in the complete paragraph you didn't pronounce well. So then you just modify to that. Just give it, and it is not also finding the fault. It is give the solution also. This is the way you have to read it the sentence. So these are the some of the collaborative things actually it's happening from the language learning to the rocket science. So that's what the AI and Gen AI tool is available. And yes, especially in revelation of educational workflows, because right from you are entering to the college or school and you are getting a certificate or degree, so everything is can be monitored by the AI. Let's say, for example, from your attendance, no need of taking attendance from the class, you have the your unique face. From your unique face you will give, the AI can monitor the face, and then it will give the attendance. While writing in your examination, AI will monitor whether you are copying or not. And from that also, I mean, whether you are seeing in a screen or not, or you are going, I mean, your eyeball is rotating somewhere else. So that from that level, from the security perspective, and whether your your complete assessment, how many times you are lacking to writing the answer. So even from your handwritten notes, how actually it will be transferred to the actual content in English or Tamil or whatever the content. So that is also the education is going on. Example, the Google is investing a lot of things, especially they are working with a large language model, and also with the the tools of text to word, or writing text to voice. So there are a lot of things are already doing it, especially in the medical records. Now there is a very much needed for a EMR, which is a electronic medical records. There are a lot of opportunity for the Gen AI tools, how the doctor prescription are, especially in the US or UK, they are using the doctor prescription for that claiming of the insurance. How the doctor's prescription can be extracted exactly the information to the claiming of the insurance. So this is the simple example. There are a lot of things actually going on for the educational transformation. I am especially working in the augmented reality and virtual reality platform, how the learning can be done by the collaborative atmosphere. For example, if you want to learn something new, even no need of physical activity. I mean, the physically we should not be present in a lab. We can use the some kind of the education materials as a virtual reality augments, and whatever we need it based on assessment, it will generate it, the virtual reality and augmented reality objects, and then we can able to learn it. And also I just want to tell one thing: if you have any comments or anything, any doubt, please ask me. Don't hesitate in a comment, so that I also will be seeing the comments, and then I can be able to answer it. The next one is emerging AI tools with higher educational potential. There are tools are available. Just go and explain with one by one. First of all, I just giving the clear thing whether we have to use the tool or not. That's a very big question. India is a good. We have the very good number of users for the AI, and actually we are very good users for the AI tools also. But unfortunately, we are not creating the tools. Simple example: if you are want to convert a image to PDF or PDF to image, why we are going for the third party tools? You can do your own algorithm from the image to PDF or PDF to image, and then you can use your own tool instead of going with the, because if you are using some other third party software or tools, you actually giving the the data to them to be trained as much as perfectly. They will be going and they are making millions of dollars. But instead of using the tools, you can create the simple tools, and combinedly, for example, sir also telling that there will be a collaborative projects also, opportunities are available. So we Indians, we can collaborate ourselves, and then we can able to create some of the tools. But unfortunately, there are tools are developed by the many MNCs. So I'm just giving some example, and also we will see for that how actually we can create our own. Yes, there is no model for the India, LLM model. Some of the Bharat LLM is right now we started, and still it is going on. So we need a LLM model from our own language, from Tamil, Telugu, or Malayalam, or whatever. But these are the overall LLM models. That's LLM is a large language model, and whatever the queries we are asking it, it has to give the reply, some reply. Okay, so if you are using some personal phone number or contact or mail ID, it won't reply. So due to the privacy and control, and whatever the other than that privacy, or if you upload my picture or whatever the picture, and any kind of the privacy, it won't answer for it. Other than that, it will answer. It's a generic chat, kind of the chatbot. So normally the chat GPT is the, we are always referring for the general LLM model. It is a conversational AI. And the next one is a perplexity. That's for the great for the research. If you want to go for a small research, or if you want to find a new concept, you just interact with the perplexity, and then it will go for a web research, web search, and then it will be giving the cited answer where actually it was fetched. But ChatGPT, you will be getting the answer, but it won't refer where actually it was taken it. And the third one is a DeepSeek. It's just a month ago, probably it was emerged, and it's actually supporting now for the Indian and especially Tamil language. Why I just prefer the for the Tamil, whatever the creative things we can do it on our own language, then we can transfer that into world language, because that is easy to do it. Okay, because we know that we can interact with the people, and then we can able to visualize it in our own language, and then we can able to do it for some other language. So that's the way, whatever you want to do it, we can implement in our own language, not only Tamil, in our own language we can do it, and then we can go for some other things. So these are the free and paid platforms are available. And the other tools are like Clad Sonnet. This is for writing, edit, and generate codes. And for the better with long documents also available. Yeah, these are the packages for that. And another one is a chat LLM. So this is the having a 20 plus models are available. It will be operating for the computer operator. So that is also very good. Anything we can do the LLM, especially for the mathematical operations, we can use for the chat LLM. The next one is the office automation. Even though we have a Microsoft, all the platforms are available. If you want to do some automation without any our human interface, we can use for the Microsoft Copilot. Now, big companies are recruiting people if you know the knowledge of the Copilot. If you are graduating or if you are working for the college, please go and study for the program which is called Copilot. So there will be a very big vacancy in upcoming days. So you can use for the complete automation for the using a Copilot. Then the next one is a Gemini. That is also one of the tools from the Google. Even now, I used to do the lot of works by using Gemini, from the mail compilation, from the documents, or preparation of the slides, or anything can be done. That's for the not only the office automation, even for the education, and also for any kind of the document work and research also can be used for the Gemini. Then the writing and summarizing. Google Notebook LLM. Notebook LM. This is what the very new thing. Earlier I mentioned it. Some of the people they know, they are interested will be only for the audio style. So even you can create the documents, convert into the audio, and that audio we can play for it. Okay. So then whatever your learning style, you can easily you can grab the, you can extract the content from the whatever the content. So it will convert to the from text to audio, and then from audio you can easily go for it. And then the Grok by XAI. The XAI is the platform actually is a very new introduced on the summarizing the fact checks, and anything can be done. That's actually the premium operation. And visualize in media. Actually, there are a lot of tools are available for GenAI videos. Like for example, if I am speaking in front of you, all believing it, but maybe in 1 or 2 years, even without me, my avatar will be speaking just same like you. Same like me. So that is also possible. Even nowadays, there will be pre-recorded audios, and some of the videos are actually interacting with the just like a real human. And that is the advantage for the GenAI videos. But anything, there is a limit, and there will be a check, and there will be a privacy also. But we can generate some of the videos for the education platform. That is not a big issue. So for any kind of education platforms, we can generate. That's one thing is a Clink AI. So it generates the AI videos from the photos and prompts. The prompt engineering is a very big, a platform for any kind of the engineers or any number of persons. They can learn the prompt engineering, and then they can be expert on that. The next one is a translate videos. So any language, for example, 3 years before, one of the student got in placement in one of the startup company. The startup company is actually translating one For example, in IPL, one of the ad is playing by the Amazon. From the ad is actually in Hindi. So how to translate in the Hindi ad to the Tamil or English? So that is actually the use case. For that, they are using their own platform and they have done it. So for just for one advertisement, they are cost about nearly 30 lakhs. But nowadays, even we can generate the same thing. The complete movie, we can upload it and then we can generate to the any kind of the what. Even nowadays, the OTT platforms are there. They are translating the from any other movie to the any other no need of dubbing voice people or anything. So it will be actually matching our lip sync to the other language. For example, how actually we are pronouncing the Tamil or English. That is all, and that also we can do it. So any other comments, please ask your doubts so that I can able to give some real-time example. The next one is the video transcription and editing. So if you want to edit the video, for example, in our academics, we need to give some kind of the video platform tools, especially in Coursera or anything. We can, if you want to make a video, that's a very big work, so that we know the concept, but for video editing, we are not familiar with that. So we just avoiding it. But actually, whatever the video, we just recording it. And then if we give the descript as a tool, for example, if you are repeating some words, then and there, for example, I am just repeating next. So it will cut down the next, second next, and then it will add to the third word. So then no need of video editor is needed. So it will be taking is completely automated, and then my video will be perfectly all right. Even it will translate to my Tamil to even Arabic also. Nowadays, the UAE, that means the Arabic countries, they need the technical videos in their own language. So very, recently there is a startups are emerging from English to they're just translating the video into the Arabic language. They actually billing in their cost. Actually, that's some lakhs they are billing for it, but they use the AI tools. So there is a lot of opportunity. If you have a mobile or if you have a system with internet connection, is more than enough to just download the AI tools and then you can work for your own office from your home itself. Nowadays, I used to do a lot of videos only by using Gen AI, even for the academic purpose or advertisement purpose, and for my own startup also, I used to do a lot of videos only from using Gen AI. So instead of going and recruit the video editor and the actor or anything, that cost. But if I go for a Gen AI tools, it will very minimum cost, only the subscription charge. Only the thing is we need to have the expertise to use the tools. So whatever the AI, Gen AI, many people are telling you will be losing the job. AI will replace a human. No, if you don't have the knowledge of the AI, then only the AI will replace you. Otherwise, if you are just take a tool, okay. 3 months before I had a talk with a musical director, ARPR. So the question asking to him that, sir, music can be done with the AI. So what is your role, sir? So the music also can be done by AI. What is your role? The question asked to him. He said that you didn't call the AI, you called me only, so I am here. Like that is answer. So that's what. So whatever the tools is actually we can use wisely like this. If we want to go for the video editing, use this Descript tool. And Suno editor is one of the tools for composing music and lyrics from the text prompts. So then you can easily do for any kind of the videos. The next one. The next one is how actually the transformation can be done, teaching and the curriculum design. Today, there is one policy from the Tamil Nadu government. There are policies already emerged, but Tamil Nadu is the number one is for the AI implementation. How from the first standard curriculum, from the LKG, itself, there is a the course, a small curriculum for computer science. So that itself we have a basement, and it was implemented 3 or 4 years ago. And from that, how to do the machine learning, how to do what is the common principle of the artificial intelligence, and how actually it will be applicable for the different applications. So that is what we have to enhance our own knowledge. So likewise, the transformating, I mean, from the design of the curriculum, for example, whatever they know already, like say, for example, if you want to design a new curriculum, please use AI. Because I suggest that if you want to use AI will give the very good recommendation, and then actually we can design the new way of the curriculum. We can we can transform the curriculum, like how actually whether the curriculum is needed only the only the practical or only theory, or it will be added to the one of the some of the projects, or everything can be suggested by AI, because it has a billions of billion already it was trained from the different curriculum from the different universities. So then there will be a many innovation already they have implemented somewhere in the world. From that reference, it is taking it, and it will be had some of the unique references, and then it will customize the curriculum based on our needs. Only the thing is how to prompt it. So that is what there are many things are there. For example, if you want to generate the curriculum for a C++ using AI, C++ using AI, why you are, maybe some people ask why we have to use a C++ AI. There is always the Python is there and a lot of AI tools are there. Why we have to C++? If you go for work for a ISRO, you have to use only by C++ or C program or Java, because that will be interacting directly to the mission. So then it will be the compiler that will be compiled to the mission, and then it will do it. So the Chandrayaan mission or whatever the mission by doing ISRO or the NASA, they are doing only the basic languages, because it should not hack to anyone, and it will be directly talk to the mission, and then it will do some kind of intelligent application. So that's what, if you want to do something new, no, it will refer from the different websites and different curriculum, and when it will add to the whatever we are searching for it. So then for the successful integration, from the even from the first standard to PhD level, the Gen AI should be integrated with the very soon. Especially for the PhD scholars, or if you want to publish a new paper in a very new domain, or if you already the domain is there, then how actually you can go for a new concept, how actually we can emerge for the new concept, and how actually we can prepare for the funded projects. So these are the things actually can be integrated with the Gen AI tools. I will give some of the examples, whether it's a video can be played. Okay, I want to play a video, so then you will be actually you will be getting to know it. Okay. Oh, can you play the video, ma? Is it possible from your end? Yeah, there was one of the questions from CMA Selvam is asking that prompt engineering from the mechanical industry or automation industry. Yes, from the automobile industry or mechanical industry, there will be a very big applications. We are closely working with Ashok Leyland how to actually enhance the quality of the products. There will be a lot of failures whenever it going to the roadside. I mean the hardware. So just a minute, I will play for the one video and then I will making it. So how the Gen AI will be. So this is the transformation. Gen AI tools. This is the prompting. Can you play it once again, ma? So that I will be go for. So this is the actual place, as a dirty place, but we can do the prompting to change. Okay, so like this, I have one more video, but instead of that, I will go with another video which I have prepared for a day ago. which I took only 2 minutes time. But in that 2 minutes, I can able to make a small video. And this is the present, which is the only the 2D file, but I made it for the 3D.
Imagine being virtually present anywhere. This IoT system achieves that by letting you remotely control a humanoid robot. Its unique 360-degree real-time view and VR environment generation create an immersive experience, making you feel like you're there. You can intuitively guide the robot's movements, effectively teleporting your presence and interaction to distant locations. This offers unparalleled remote operation and information exchange.
Okay, so am I audible? Hope I am audible, right?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Hope I am audible, ma?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay. I just I may conclude it for with my last presentation slide.
Sure, sir.
Shall I add it? You can add my slides now. Okay. So again, I'm just explaining 2D
Imagine being
photo only
virtually
I've
present
added.
anywhere.
From the 2D photo, I made it for the 3D by using ChatGPT. Okay, so these are the things I had generated, and the video also. I mean, not only from 2D to 3D, I made it as a animated one, which is completely from 2D to 3D and 3D to animation. So this all can be done only within 3 minutes. This is a patent work. So within only 3 minutes, we have done it. Okay, now just add for the slide, ma. Yes, I will go for the whichever the slide. So these are the two videos I have already played for that. Okay, now we'll go for the problem solving and education. See, there are a lot of opportunity by using Gen AI, even for our using a Meta's tools, which is a Facebook tools. We can make for a lot of applications on it. Especially if we want to search for a new idea, and how actually this idea can be make a startup, how the startup can earn per month is 20 lakhs. So this is your query, and from the idea generation to how actually you can do the actual marketing, how who is will be the your potential customer, and what is the price actually you have to fix for it, and in the price whether they will be going with the same price, or you can periodically you can update the price or not, and then and then and then you can able to make what are the other refinement you want to make for it, whether you are going for the product as a service, or only you are just going for the service sector. So everything can be generated, and then it will give the complete insight of your own company. So many companies CEOs are AI. Many companies, the CEOs are AI. So completely they have done with the chief, whatever the chief I mean chief executive officer, whatever he is doing it, the same thing actually using by the, I mean the AI will take care of it. So that is the thing I want to discuss. So this is the video, we already seen it. Whatever the input, my input is just a 2D image of a photo. My outcome is actually 3D image with the animation. So I'll also want to give a small demo, especially for the research. Hope I will take only 2 minutes more. Shall I? I just present with my screen. Okay, there is a tool called whether my screen is visible. Yes, there is a tool called SciSpace. So this is a SciSpace. Actually, it's a very good tool for especially for the researchers. I just log in with my own thing credential. Yeah. So actually, there is a lot of things you can make it. Especially, I like the very best tool is PDF to video. This is what I really like it. If you, because as a researcher, you are very, you don't have enough time to read the complete paper. As a researcher, first of all, very best quality is if you want to make your one small, one paper, at least you have to read minimum 60 papers. Minimum 60 papers you have to read the same domain. But we don't have time, that is not possible. So this is a tool. You just upload the PDF and then it will convert as a video. Just like just like our social media reels, it will be converting it, and it will be giving for the what is the novelty for that work, and what are the data set they have used, and what methodology they have used, and whether the accuracy is good or bad, and what will be the extension work. So everything can be done with the video, this kind of the video. And yes, you can able to easily understand the complete video from the video, and then chat with the PDF. This is a very interesting one. So yesterday I have uploaded one of the file. These are the two files I have so far I uploaded. So even in front of you, I can upload one file, which is the PDF. Whichever PDF is already there, we can just trying to upload it. So I think, yeah. Any journals? Oh, yeah. So this is one of the journal. I think we have submitted one journal. So I'm just uploading it in front of you. Now I just interact with my. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, it is still. We can interact it. For example, what is the novelty of the? Otherwise, we can go for a frequently asking question. So what is the result of the paper? We can see the result of the paper. So it's generating the result of the paper from the PDF. Yes. So this is the results. One is the comprehensive voice assistant for the basic PC commands and text task performance and information retrieval, communication capability. So from this PDF is extracting the results for our need. So anything can be just interacting just like a human. In a text we can interact, and then we can able to understand what is the research about. So not only this, even we can make the many things, especially with the chat with PDF and literature review and AI writer, find the topics and paraphrasing and site generator and extract data, AI detector, and also affiliate program. So I mean, whatever, if you have any good creative idea, we can refine our idea. We can, if you have a good implementation, how to that implementation can be converted as a just remove this. So how the implementation can be converted into the very good research paper. So anything can be done. Okay. So hope I am audible now. I'm just going for the conclusion. If any other questions, please make that. I am done with my presentation. Any other questions?
Thank you so much for your words of information, sir. We gained a lot of insights from your speech today, and thank you for giving so much different resources that we as students or audience and even professors who are watching this today will definitely gain insights about. Thank you so much about it, sir. We have a few questions for you, sir, if I can ask.
Yeah.
So our first question is, how will generative AI personalize student learning in the next 5 years?
Yeah, next 5 years very crucial. Actually, I have written a book called India 2030. As per the Kalam's dreams, India will be the top. Now, the big research, even the China and Japan, even UAE cannot do the research in, especially in rocket science. But we made it. Okay, so that's the kind of the visionary projects actually already in pipeline for us, especially in AI. AI, we have to do a lot of things, making tools. And first of all, the AI should be given a very good awareness for the all the people, from the childhood to all the people. The AI literature awareness. So that is what the very first needed. The Indian government and Tamil Nadu government and many NGOs, a lot of things are actually they are going on it. And the next one is, as just come for your question, For the next 5 years, initially they have to start with the using of the AI, and then there will be a need for creating our own AI, especially in a large language model and also for the text to picture. Because if you are just search for one a beautiful man, likewise if you give the search, no, actually it will give some of the Americans. Okay, but that is a bias. Okay, that if you are such in India, if you are in India, I mean if you are Chennai, that results you have to commit. Okay, so we have to completely think for the local and implement for the global. So that is what my always I prefer want to say. Yes.
Right, sir. Thank you about that. We have another question from the chat session, sir. Now, what
Yeah.
is the scope of generative AI in the field of cybersecurity?
Okay, cybersecurity. There are two kind of the AI tools actually right now is available. One is right from our mail categorization. So whether our mail is spam or not, that is actually the cybersecurity inside our mail content also. But other one is for the networking side. Now there are a lot of AI models are replacing the human. Why I am telling it? The human can be, we cannot actually the trace the problem, but AI will be trace the from the propagation, or it will go for the re-engineering, and then it will find out the actual problem from the source. And there are a lot of models is already there, even from the small LLM models. Actually, if you want to find out the some of the answers for the some kind of the hacking, that will give the results. Okay, so the white collar or whatever the ethical hacking easily can be learned by the LLM models nowadays. Okay, I hope my answer is okay with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next question for you, sir. How can teachers integrate AI content without hurting critical thinking skills?
Yeah, that is very much important. Even I also facing the same issue. If I give some kind of the assignment, and within just 10 minutes the assignment can be submitted from my students within 10 minutes. But if I ask some questions, what is your assignment, then over submission they cannot able to answer it. Okay, because they don't have their own work, they have generated and then they have submitting. So I know that as a educationalist, I mean as a faculty, we have to give us some good unique work to them. So then simple AI models cannot be generate the answer. Okay, they have to work for at least for 2 to 3 hours, then only they can able to submit the answer. So it is not about the student, it's not about the submission for the from the other end. We, I mean the as a faculty, we have to well versed and aware of that, what can be submitted as a unique thing. Okay, there will be many platforms are available. They cannot generate it, there's some kind of the answers for it. So that kind of the questions can be given as a assignments. That's one thing. And the other one is for the research, and the research is a very much needed, and there will be always the question mark whether we are doing the right research or not from the Indian perspective. Yes, if you are focusing on instead of the quantity, if you are focusing for the quality, and if you are focusing for the only for the new innovation or new methods or new products, then surely our innovation will be on right way. By using any Gen AI tools, we can do it. That's not an issue. But we need to focus on the quality as well as the tools. I mean, we need to make for a product instead of going for the simple research. So that's what my answer for this.
Agreed, sir. One last question before we end the session for you. What
Yeah.
skills do educators and students need for Gen AI?
Okay, see, I have given some of the simple examples, like how to generate from PDF to the audio, and from audio to how to actually make it by video files, and how actually we can able to make it for the a lot of content, customized content. So that is what's needed. So as per the education, one-to-one is the very good thing for our education standards. But unfortunately we cannot make some one-to-one because of we need to go for the large number of students to be trained. But Gen AI tools will be very good platform. We can make instead of the, I mean we can put the feel of one-to-one, The contents we have to prepare for it, and the delivery side, the AI tool will have to take it. The assessment and all the things, only we have to see the reports. But content, from the quality content, we have to make it. We have to ensure that the quality of the content also. Okay.
Done, sir. Thank you so much for the enlightening session, sir, and thank you for the question answer session as well.
Thank
Your insights on how generative AI can revolutionize educations were definitely eye-opening. And you not only broadened our understanding, but also inspired us to reimagine different types of learning through various resources in more innovative and more meaningful ways. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and
Thank you
efforts.
for the opportunity, RPR. And also, I, as a IET secretary for the Chennai local network, and also I would like to thank you for SR management for my upskilling day to day. And also, I thank my students and family also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next up, we have a person, a great dignitary, from Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science, Dr. SURESH A.S., popularly known as Dr. SAS, is a dynamic academic versus industry researcher, technology enthusiast, and entrepreneurial mentor with over 25 years of experience in banking, financial services, and insurance, BFSI technology leadership. With a core research focus on mobility, technology behaviors in rural India, Indian occupations, and rural cybersecurity, Sir brings rural simplicity with urban complexity through practical innovation. He has mentored numerous startups, served on 54 advisory boards, and has been a panelist, speaker, or moderator on over 2,100 panels, 78 plus conventions, and 684 plus webinars, actively contributing to both academic and corporate landscapes globally. An ardent believer in digital trust, affordability, and local empowerment, he has passionately driven initiatives to build scalable digital ecosystems, particularly for rural entrepreneurship, emphasizing local IoT, AI ML, big data, quantum computing, 5G, blockchain, and cybersecurity. He currently serves on major boards and committees like State Technical Advisory Committee for Enterprise Architecture, Maharashtra Information Technology Corporation Limited, CIO KLUB National Executive Council, Chairman and Managing Committee Member of CSI-Mumbai Chapter, ET Edge CXO Advisory Member, Global CIO Certification Panel ISB Hyderabad. Besides technology, Sir is passionate fitness enthusiast, a believer in meditation, and an advocate for management and inspirational social writings. Across his illustrious career, he has earned 768 honors and awards between 2007 and 2024, introduced geospatial technologies for rural customer empowerment, and championed affordable innovation hubs to stimulate local entrepreneurship across India and SAARC regions. Through his vision, he aims to nurture socially impactful, affordable, and accessible innovation ecosystems, making a profound difference from local villages to the global stage. Please help me invite the one and only President, CSI Mumbai Chapter, Advisory Committee, AICTE, Dr. Suresh A. SHAN Sir, on the topic Bridging the AI Talent Gap, Industry versus Academia and Government. Welcome you, sir, on the podium.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Thanks for this large, high-profile introduction. But it's I will put it in simple words to say I do job simplifying IT in rural India. That matters a lot at the end of the day, and trying to bring out as much as skills and talents from the local, where we can empower them to get a proper positioning themselves. As you call it as job, we call it as recognition for every individual across the country. That's what it multiplies on that. Can we directly get into the presentation? I hope we are running out of time.
Yes, sir, we can. Can you please share your screen, sir?
Then the presentation is already sent to you, so it's with you.
One minute, sir.
till the time she loads the presentation, you have to have a very clear cut to find out. So far, you heard more about health and academics. Now you can get into the area of industry, where you have to be very clear to say, you have to state it first. You have to confirm, or you have to speak out first. It's a feature of that particular solution or service or product. Otherwise, if end user finds out, it seems to be or tagged as bug. So to avoid in artificial intelligence, especially when you try to bring out intelligence in terms of smartness, you have to be very precise, to be more upfront in trying to get as much as questioning and as much as trying to give feedbacks part of it. And if you want to see more in terms of intelligence, which comes part of smartness, or trying to get as much as part of the talent, it's purely trying to get as much as towards the technology, where how it is seemed from academia, and again getting into the rules and regulation standards set part of the government, which comes and again delivers part of industry to get aligned part of the social and the large masses, whatever we deliver, try to bring out part of the product. You could load the presentation, madam.
Sir, can you please allow the access?
The presentation is visible.
No, sir, it's not visible.
Okay, till the time it gets into load, people do question me to say like, okay, sir, we are from research, we are from academics. Why our projects are not being appreciated or not directly converted part of the information in terms of how we can take similar things part of it. So the simple or simplified version of that is what, whichever we do in terms of the alignment or the products or something else specific for future, or the kind of transformation looking forward part of digital transformation should be somewhere else aligned with industry 4.0 or industry 5.0, where we are trying to bring out the industry in terms of expecting alignment from academia and government. That's where you can see the reality in terms of how intelligence, especially you are trying to bring out the latest technologies, and how things are trying to get as much as part of it, where we can use more in terms of trying to take things part of it. And we can even see as much as in terms of how similar things working part of it, where you can see not only from just industry options, where we can see lot more the provisions which is also from the industry, which is converted maximum as much as towards the kind of technology solutions, which is now working as different verticals and trying to align as much as part of it, where it starts with the banking and the kind of personal finance, where the intelligence used as much as more towards the technology, which is again aligned part of it. And again transport, which is coming especially in terms of the kind of roads which we are trying to build, work from office, work from home. Now we are converting work from your vehicle and trying to connect as much as we can, and trying to ensure to avoid the traffic problems and issues, and trying to build as much as a wow when it comes to retail space, a lot more again, which is coming and defining, trying to get as much as, which is getting towards the people and trying to make as much as part of it. And again, especially when it comes to education, where we can see a lot more in terms of that impact which was created part of the intelligence. And again, trying to see more tools, especially from the collaboration and communication. That's what you are able to get as much as towards the communication, which was converted part of intelligence, and trying to defend as much as part of the solution. The major part which comes out, especially in terms of the intelligence, is in gaming, where again gaming, part of localization, trying to build as much as in different verticals and trying to create motivation in terms of people, and trying to create as much as on the talents and skills building part of the gaming. Again, intelligence plays a major role in part of getting into the information. And again, specific in terms of media, hospitality and entertainment, you can see a lot more scope in terms of intelligence which is coming part of industry, where we are trying to bring out as much as very precise in terms of how media can get as much as visible towards the content, and contents getting leveraged in terms of authentic information. And the kind of hospitality and entertainment gives more in terms of how similar things can be made in terms of the expectation set part of it. If you are specific in terms of trying to use more in terms of sports and the kind of online shopping, and again technology in terms of intelligence plays a different role, and trying to give as much as more precise to take it part of it, especially from sports and the kind of information specific in terms of healthcare, agriculture, real estate, social networks, trying to build as much as part of it. And the kind of smart cities, smart homes, smart villages, now we are trying to build as much as towards it. And even if you see from a specific in terms of politics and government, and trying to create even events today, we can see intelligence is playing a major role, and intelligence do have something specific in terms of how similar things can be taken in terms of information required. If you see in terms of students and again industry versus academia, you can see a lot more which comes out part of technical skills, again trying to empower as much as in terms of academia industry, which comes out with open-ended and trying to get as much as materialized towards commercialized projects, which gives industry a more of knowledge transfer. And the information sharing between government and academia gives as much as in terms of information, and creating the maximum activities which gives more in terms of engaging the industrial professionals, or trying to give as much as more in terms of the kind of projects, live projects, again the corporate trainings, all matters a lot. And again, how it's trying to build the skill sets and talents which is coming part of it, where if you want to put it in reality, you want to see how it is a skill more towards focusing on the kind of entrepreneur versus employment. That's where you can see a lot more which gets more in terms of an entrepreneur, again getting into research, trying to do as much as on the social responsibility. Again, when you try to deploy part of that employment and an employer, how do we do innovation, how do we try to build social responsibility, again bringing it out the talent, especially the skill sets whichever is getting aligned part of the big data. And again, see in terms of university linkage, creating the internal and external type of practice integration, and the kind of information which sets a lot more, which gives more comfort in trying to utilize part of it. And if you see in terms of industry, academia, government, and we are trying to do as much as in terms of research, we can see a lot more in terms of competition and kind of the teaching awareness and the kind of research which builds a lot more part of it. So even if you see more in terms of the engineering, and when you talk about more the recent HR trends part of 2025 and transforming the future in terms of the workspace strategies, a lot more impact is coming from the core like mechanical engineering and electrical engineering, especially which computes from the computer engineers, and trying to bring out as much as into the specific areas of artificial intelligence engineering, big data engineering, and trying to give as much as more towards the kind of remote and hybrid work models, and trying to get more personalized employee experience. Even if try to do that mega data analytics, and trying to do diversified in terms of using the kind of inclusion information, and trying to have skill-based learning and development, and artificial intelligence in terms of how we can do HR automation. Part of the industries are all coming very specific in terms of getting that information, which is giving more in terms of opting that options as part of it. If you see specific in more the skill-based learning and development, or having the employee well-being, That's where you can see more in terms of the HR trends, which is coming 2025. We can see a lot more in terms of impact. If you want to get more in terms of why intelligence, what it is intelligence, and that should get you to the drill down to find like how the AI empowered workforce evolution and shifting work life, especially from the industry where we see the kind of end of more getting specific from the talent acquisition to talent access, which gives more in terms of resolving the kind of productivity paradox. So if you want to do everything, you should have that basic information about, we all know about Google, and in the interest of time, we can see like the difference between Google specific in terms of Google Maps and the Google Earth. Very few people know the difference between it, and very few people even focus like how to use Google Maps and how to use Google Earth. Google Maps is something else which is created by us, used by us, and it is for us. It doesn't have any authenticity. It's a dump of data, could be right, could be wrong, could be anything else. So if somebody is going to work on artificial intelligence blindly using an intelligence from Google, it will give that information. It could be dump, it could not be even verified or authentic. It could be just an information which was entered by somebody else, which is lying part of that data, which is not even verified, and which can be given you something about wrong results also. So when you talk about Google Earth, it is paid by Google and it's a paid solution, and it is just utilized by people where they are given the paid solutions. For example, if you go and put ARPR events from Mumbai in Google Maps, it will pick it up. Next time when you type for it, it will show Mumbai also, Chennai also. But if it's in Google Earth, it will be verified and it will be communicated with the ARPR team, and the team has to confirm, then only the data is flushed and it is allowed for people to access and use it. So authentic information, which is very, very important. So the kind of expecting future in terms of talents will have more in terms of redesigning the priorities and trying to do that operating models in terms of the changes which is coming part of the challenges. And HR has a force, like they try to bring out as much as expectations set part of the talent. That's where we can see a lot more coming part of it. And again, if you want to see in terms of growth, in terms of industry surrendering that kind of existence in terms of expectations, part of employment, which is huge still now. If you see one side, people continue to argue to say like no, AI has come, whether we have lost the jobs. We are putting in another area beyond AI, the kind of authentic information, and trying to prescribe part of the inputs which motivates as much as, and the capabilities of that particular organization or the firm, which does enough in terms of research and the R&D, which gives more in terms of identifying how the business works, how the business solutions matters a lot, which generally can't just brought out by an intelligence part of a social system, because it's very specific and the practices were very specific to the culture of the organization. And so far it was all try to get as much as part of the morality in terms of how similar things viewed and set part of it, and getting exposed in terms of information or getting converted into the data and trying to get as much as part of the system. That's where you can see a big gap between the actual talent and whatever it's, we call it cooked information. That's what today it's available more, and the industry still have something else very specific and precise to see a big differentiation which doesn't cope up with such thing, and try to see that information which is coming part of it. So we hear a lot more from people asking, saying like how their Python programming or a data mining or even introduction of artificial intelligence, how it matters a lot part of academics. Surely it matters a lot when it comes to academics and again for the research. But when it comes to industry, it should have a huge impact in terms of how similar things can be viewed, seen, and even machine learning should have an impact which generates more in terms of how the business and simplifying the emotions which captures part of it. So in India, e-business is less to do with electronics, more to do with emotions. Until we didn't cater to the emotions which are not able to capture part of your solutions, as I said, that authentic information is not there available part of it. That's where the reality comes out, and we give as much as impact which produces more in terms of data volumes, and trying to define a huge impact which gives part of it. That's where you can see a lot more in terms of the data strategy integration, and artificial intelligence creates multiple concepts and opportunities and challenges, where you can see a lot more which is part of it, and which can enable in terms of empowering the solutions, where it gives more in terms of how we can have conjunctive cyber security and robotics in terms of personal assistance, creating that information, autonomous surgical robotics, and trying to do that more in terms of next gen cloud robotics without getting into the more of controlled gaming, and trying to use as much as real time the kind of universal transaction and virtual companions, which gives autonomous systems, which build part of the system, which we can use it different part by saying machine learning or deep learning, or getting into the neural networks, trying to use pattern recognition, NLP, again, how these things are used, part of it, chatbots. If you see all as tagged part of the academics, we do have information, but we didn't have that information which has the landscape, which is part of the industry. And again, everything vertical specific within the financial. If you want to do something for banking, it requires a lot more in depth, like how neural networks works, pattern of recognition, even the customer. It matters a lot. A customer who can understand and speak and use mobility IoT solutions, a customer who couldn't use, how it takes it out, and again, build out the various valuable systems, which is giving more into the kind of machine learning, which gets more distributed in terms of how the supervised learning is taken in terms of industry in part of transfer learning, and again unsupervised learning part of research is taken as much as part of industry in terms of deep learning. And when it comes to reinforcement algorithms learning, everything part of academics, which comes e-assemble learning, which gives more multiple models, which gets more trained for the particular system to get that combination of information with it authentic information. So that's where you can see a lot more machine learning directive approach, which intelligence gives more comfort, and people get more as much as when you are trying to bridging the gap between AI talent gap versus industry in terms of academia and government. And government plays a lot more in terms of the data challenges. That's where you can see in terms of, even you take for example our Aadhaar card or the card, whatever, which is used in terms of identifying a particular individual or a particular business or a particular corporate, how similar quality is used, how the data volumes are checked internally, how the data privacy and security is made part of it, and how the biasness, like that's where you can see in India we lack a lot more in terms of biasness and fairness, where we assume whenever anything is tend to get for lending, people do get a better information about it and get more interpretability in terms of how that can information can be explained in terms of the multiple technologies which is used part of it. But when it comes to technical expertise, you can see a lot more which envisage more in terms of the dimensions of data challenges, which especially when it comes to India, you should have enough in terms of the behavioral challenges. That's where you can see more in terms of belief behaviors, which will convert the best business, which gives the benefits of Bharat. So that's where you can see the data quality and quality measures, collection management, and kind of information which gives more in terms of the information. So if you see more of academics, when you try to do challenging elements of data quality, the data quality measures when it comes to industry, that's where you can see a lot more which comes part of the tools and solutions, which gets bridged part of it. So if you see accuracy, integrity, timeliness, competitiveness, relevance, and consistency, then you can see a lot more in terms of the industry getting the jargons towards it. And again, if you see from the education, they are categorizing that to say the quality in terms of quality measures, collection and management, and data governance. So these gaps which trying to bridge part of the regulators and the kind of information which is fetched during the system, that's where you can see a lot more in terms of the solutions which is coming part of data quality. We can talk a lot more in terms of data bias, in terms of migration, where we do have specific data patterns which is creating as much as emotional patterns. When it comes to medical, people in India do give different type of data, different type of information which is fetched, which is not connected when it comes to identification in terms of finance and the kind of requirements which is creating something on the business purpose. And it comes to health, again, this kind of separate which data labeling and data cleaning, which gives more in terms of how we can create that algorithmic fairness, where we can connect and try to use continuous monitoring and maintenance. So whenever we talk about data, that data quality in terms of challenges should have enough in terms of data profiling and the preparation, and trying to do imitation. That's what the techniques which is missing for data. That's what you can see a lot more struggle from AI. And when we try to do use from industries, especially from the finance and the kind of the banking sector, we try to feel that fear factor matters a lot in terms of trying to eliminate and try to bring out as much as imputation techniques for missing data. And that data validation and testing gives enough importance when it comes to the kind of data linkage and data valuation. That's where you can see the real challenges. It's going to fetch a lot more when people are thinking more about artificial intelligence, trying to bring out that intelligence in terms of conversion from the human intelligence. That's where you can see solutions a lot more which is coming from the data volumes and data which is trying to take it up. And again, challenging the elements of data volume, that's where we can see element in terms of how similar things can be taken part of it. So even if you want to see cybersecurity talks a lot more what not to do rather than what to do. So today all IT people, if you see majority people, just they are getting into a driving license without knowing like what not to do and what things to do. That's where you can see a lot more mess happens part of IT, especially when it comes to industry. So what we recommend is what whenever you talk about a specific thing, even people when they have to get specific in terms of that iterations getting into IT, especially getting into technology from social, those things has to be very precise to find out what things not to do, which is very important than what things to do. That's where you can see the data dialogue, data storage, data processing, and data management, and data related to get into the heterogeneity, and data privacy and security matters a lot. And it will have more when you try to use transfer learning, federal learning, and terms of edge computing. This all matters a lot when you find that authentication of what things not to do. That's what the solutions of data volume gives more of multimodal learning. That's impact will have more when people get more into academics and the governance, which gives more important upfront people how to use it effectively and how to prevent avoiding such things which is creating mess and problem, or even getting into social, trying to put some harsh messages, trying to defend something of challenge elements of the data privacy and security, which is creating as much as mitigations part of the strategies. Majority time it gives more of a negative view, which industry opt to use it. That's why if you see even banking, when you try to use Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook for social impact, we didn't go majority of that information, which is giving more of mitigation strategies for data privacy and security. So when you talk about privacy, data security, and trying to use part of the intelligence, it's like how privacy in terms of preserving the AI techniques is very important. AI is again, it's not just an information, it's more to do with an intelligence, which how smart we do it, how authentic it is, and how we can bring out that robustness and trying to use as much as advanced and extensive information. Again, monitoring part of the anonymous detection, where it has enough in terms of how to get the compliance of data protection and regulation part of it. So this all matters a lot when we talk about intelligence. It's not just getting into a file, trying to convert and try to use it. It's not going to matter a lot at the end of the day if you are not very clear about what that authenticity and then how that group attribution is happening, how the file is getting transferred, and what is the backend which uses to do the measurement, even labels, sampling, aggregation, confirmation, automation, anchoring, and feature selection. Those are the types of data biasness which will give you how people use in India, how people try to get more in terms of data collection and processing, and how this algorithmic fairness which works in terms of the metrics, and again which is more explainable in terms of AI. So if you want to be more getting into the proposed way of solution, you should have more in terms of, we call it as collaboration, which is specific to the ways of how similar things can be used to build the skills. And especially when it comes to technology, we be very clear about the necessity is very important, and trying to bring out as much as interpretability and explainability, which gives you more utilizing part of evaluation matrix. So if you are planning to use intelligence, if you are planning to use that smart information, but let it be very clear to find for what purpose we are using, and what that unique originality which we are trying to use part of the system, and what kind of base data which is supplied to use it, so that which we'll try to do part of it. So today, one side, like the academics is finding out how to create a thesis paper part of ChatGPT. Other side, we have technology which we run for 5 minutes, we will come to know which are all the projects which got directly from ChatGPT, and we reject them. We didn't even give that until that doesn't have originality and it doesn't speak about the valuation of that particular purpose, especially when you get into rural, when you try to see more projects, authenticity, data, and the kind of relevance, do or die, where people do come with more authenticity. So that's where you can see the reality which keeps, even though this side, we do have that technology part of it, but it doesn't have authentic information. And the other side, they do have an authentic information. So with less technology, still they try to do part of it. So it's more simplifying that. And the recommendation is what, when you think about intelligence, when you think about technology, especially from academia, government, and specific industry, people should know the kind of IT policies, cybersecurity policies, what is the last amendment policy, what things should not do. That's actually the technology domain which will give more inputs part of it. So everybody speaks about robotics, but robotics comes with nothing but our 5 senses: speak, listen, touch, feel, hear, smell, these things which we feel like part of the emotional information, which now get converted to the technology, and we are trying to do it. But you can see a lot more got into that to say more how we can do more from the health related, and especially when it comes to medical, in terms of how similar things can be used, part of the kind of robotics which is getting measured a lot more, and trying to use as much as, which you call it as just a sound and speech. Now it's getting more of an ECG signal, EEG signal, and EMC signal, and trying to create as much as part of the 3D selection, which gives you more in terms of how the infrared, RGB, GPS, and the kind of image which converts that information part of it. So everything looks very simple similarity. And at awareness in terms of IT policies and process procedures, how to use, where to use, and where not to use, kind of social websites and mobility IoT security guidelines will give that effectiveness of how smart information can be termed and can be used effectively part of it. And again, when it comes to AI in education, we do have a lot more in terms of challenges, where we do plan part of it, where in terms of how we can bring out industry information part of it, creating that case studies and trying to build exactly what's happening part of it. So even that terminology, whenever we give people for getting into the certificates, they say, sir, in my college they are telling me to get 14 weeks, or can I get something to do with 13 weeks, because this is part of my intern trying to take it up. But industry trying to take something else. If you are doing a project which is less than 90 days in industry, that's not valued as a project first of all, and that's not get as much as more important about a particular person's certification to align to that. So bring out that exactly like from both industry and the academic sitting together and trying to create that applications benefits, and trying to see a lot more impact how the technical aspects work it out, learning as aspects work more in terms of how cognitive science, which we can build using the knowledge structure and the tools and shells at the end of the day, like how much the technology which gives more collaborative and getting that kind of systems which creates interface. That's where you can see the full-fledged system which gives more AI in education, and again the benefits will give more in terms of industry and governance part of it. Some of the places we heard even the students coming and telling us, sir, I had done some project on biometrics, but my particular project got rejected. So we used to say, like, since it's this particular technology has to be recognized and it has to have something to do with the course description and the course goals, learning objectives, and assignment in terms of learning outcomes. So this all looks more part of the digital education, where AI has a different phase in terms of assessment, learning, and teaching, and bring it out as much as in terms of digital support systems, and trying to create reinforcement of learning and deep learning, which gives you more in terms of the course assessment and the kind of feedback, which again we have seen less of the research which gives that more in terms of feedback assessment, and trying to get more even the adaptive learning and the personal learning. If you see, we can differentiate easily that particular research or particular thesis was just used part of ChatGPT, or it has enough in terms of knowledge, which creates more in terms of deception, where it gives more in terms of learning analysis, which is part of it. So this all matters a lot when it comes to the kind of education which gives more in terms of industry. And if you see a graph which you can see from high to low in terms of research, especially the public and the private, in terms of how we do academic research versus industrial application, it was a huge gap which comes more in terms of how discovery in terms of the kind of academic information which is high, where the industrial application which is low, or the academic research on the discovery is high and the industrial application could be low, so vice versa it gives out. And the fundamental research which gives more concepts, which gives you enough in terms of creating the main challenges, knowledge transfer, and trying to create as much as part of the collaboration, which gives more part of academia, industry, and government. So if you see from public to private, if you're trying to use the technology transfer, use as much as development, create that product launch, give that value system with the mass of social impacts, success as a new product, and bring as much as success as a business. So that's a complete cycle which comes part of it, and it gives more in terms of like the cash flow, which again determines part of the industry. So it's not just a research, it's more of information, and people should be aware, saying like globally US stands still first in terms of submission of research purpose, and China comes at second. But if you see from both the people, a lot more is what more to do with industrial application than the academic research. So bring out that enough value addition in terms of industrial research, which will give part of the government, which will give more empowerment in terms of jobs, impact, which gives you more comfort in terms of taking technology. So here, what we are trying to conclude by saying, like, no things how we are seeing it, part of intelligence is what. So far, intelligence is used just as a technology, even from the organization, just to do bits and parts, or could be more of silos and trying to do that. Now that things has been now removed and try to build to bring out as much as in terms of, for example, if somebody is running an agricultural product where they make tomatoes, they do farming part of tomatoes, they will try to bring out the tomatoes in terms of what our technology use, and it will take them to leverage to convert the tomato from tomato to sauce in from the farm or the field, and it will go out of the farm as a product, and the creator will get the benefits of smart farming robot. So that's where that act which gives more in terms of the cobalt smart farming and trying to use robotics or IoT or and the agricultural, which gives localization in terms of valuing the product, is going to be the complete cycle of technology transformation rather than bits and silos. Just take a logistics, give it to somebody else, some mediator or a high firm agent can make money out of it, and the creator continue to say something else which is lesser than part of it. So it's a lot more scope given to that, because people speak when tomato is sold at 5 rupees, 10 rupees, nobody speaks on that kilo. But when tomato goes to 100 rupees, everybody speaks. So it matters a lot to find out and change the intelligence to find out. Today, social impact is talking more about when a product gets into a misprice and guidance in terms of information. But emotionally, if you see, when a product is selling at 5 rupees kilos and more than 5 kilos for 25 rupees, nobody gives that credit to the creator. So this all matters a lot, how e-business, which talks less about electronics, more of it, emotions, how it gives the credits in terms of people can take similar things, which gives more comfort in doing it out. And when it comes to even the other places like viewing and other things, the technology should have more in terms of saving time, money, efforts. So if you see, whatever we do part of education, everywhere we bring out more in terms of corporate digital, converting into the customer digital, everything part of it. But it should have more focus towards save time, money, and efforts. That's where you can see the kind of transformation which is happening, which is going very high on that. So if you want to get that experience to feel it, like you can see the post-COVID, the corporate digital is moved from corporate towards the customer digital, and every individual customer is treated as corporate, and the technology is revolving again there. So the banking and financial services has moved out of that corporate impulse and trying to creating that earn to pay model, where every individual should get into that earning model so that they can pay back and try to utilize part of it. So this all matters a lot, how to precise and trying to do it. And getting into that intelligence, again, we have two category set of academics versus industry, where we have one which comes as entrepreneurs, the another one which comes as employees. Entrepreneurs, what we say, people do join as developers or the technology people to startups and try to develop their skills and come out with something else after 3 years. And people do join big organization and do bring out a huge difference in terms of getting into the adoption and applying technology for larger volumes. So both as a pros and cons, both as good and bad, both has that huge impact how to do it. But that value system, which we find a lot, where people joining startups and getting into every area, or those people who are getting into multitasking and getting into the senior level positions faster, where a particular person, even though he joins a big organization, taking a big role trying to do it out, it takes some time for him to do it, because of he has seen that huge volumes. But the basics works when people take multiple risks at multiple impacts, which creates part of it. So both are having different experience trying to do it, the intelligence earned out of it. And again, when you try to utilize part of it and try to do technology the way people see it, and human intelligence applied and utilize part of it, where we can see the students who have done something from startups and trying to empower and trying to do it, they have a huge impact which is coming part of it. And again, here intelligence, people say, sir, what is that real intelligence? How come suddenly people all talk about intelligence? Intelligence is nothing but a particular information. You should have a 360-degree impact of the same, and you should view it on the opponent of that and try to get what comes out part of it. For example, you take a technology from financial, we do have something called gold loans. Everybody is aware of that, but generally gold loans, majority company do gold loans, but they are not so successful like specific companies. You can name anybody else who does more from the specific background in terms of gold companies. So what generally they do, they didn't give just finance for gold for other companies. They have created the technology system to identify the particular gold is given. For example, that's around 5 lakhs. Then the loan is taken at 3 lakhs. They will try to generate to accrue the 2 lakhs more, so that they will identify to find out whether they want any technology related products for their personal purpose, or somebody's getting into education, somebody's getting into wedding or marriage, somebody's getting to some demand. They try to give that 2 lakh and they want to accrue that gold, and they want to melt that gold and use it for different lighter jewels. So that's where the real profit in trying to do it. So a gold loan company should not talk about gold loan or recovering the gold, rather than how to accrue and how to get that 360 impact of the product. That's where the intelligence plays a major role, and the intelligence give you the 360 impact part of it. And again, if you see one of the Indian Institute of Insurance, where they are trying to deploy insurance part of it, and they found in Bihar the claims were claimed as more, and initially it was thought like whether some frauds are happening or the process was not followed. But when they get into that reality in terms of study, they come to know the 360-degree impact of it is what they do have an ICU, full-fledged ICU, which is only at Patna, and the remaining places they have to travel minimum 350 kilometers. By the time they reach to the hospital, either the patient dies or the particular thing gets into more critical. So that information which is trying to impact is what more the claims, then you have to build more ICUs to avoid the claims, rather than we should not get into that to find how to settle those claims and how to set the technology part of it. So everything has a different impact, and everything has a different business prospects, would could be against, or something could be pro, or something could be even ethical or logical, which is not necessarily part of your business, part of that things executing part of it. So information in terms of intelligence should be more in terms of 360-degree information. That gives you more comfort in trying to take part of it. And again, if you ask me, in India, good thing is what people do scatter a lot. People do try to get into that kind of capturing information part of it. Good olden days, to create a bank account, we kept some 550 fields. Now today with 20 fields, they are able to generate and try to put it out. So given a chance, the impact is changed. The things are getting more into that, and the kind of collaborate and create information has something more feature. And good thing is what even rural India is getting more matured in terms of what things they have to do, what things of information which gives more in terms of demography. Again, trying to get a disparity in terms of the development, which gives more of localized challenges, which is coming part of it. Again, if you see in intelligence, people do claim like, sir, we have limited options of job, which again we can get into that. We can have enough for that. People would want to refer, they can refer part of G20 government project, which has enough talks about transportation. They want to build roads from India to US, across the countries, across the boundaries, across different people, where still they want to create that journey for a wow factor and trying to utilize as much as part of the vehicle. Since this is into multiple divisions getting into that, again, healthcare is playing a lot more in terms of getting as much as importance part of the data. And again, 2030, 2047, it's given a lot more to convert as much as data part of healthcare, finance, and more in terms of getting into the education data, which will be more towards the data which is going to be digital, and every individual will carry only the cards, not physical information across the country, or even you are getting some job opportunities or getting some educational opportunities across the globe. So keeping that, again, rest out, if you see from manufacturing, agriculture, media, retail, consumer electronics, everywhere you can see a lot more which is giving more impacts part of it. If you are specific in terms of mobility and IoT solutions, again, it's more into that. If you're getting into more transport systems, as I mentioned, there are more into that roadside surveillance and again information exchange, which comes from the government organizations, which gives public works, police unit, fire thing, and we do have an e-cell, which gives you even all the highways today. When your vehicle is getting transferred or vehicle is running on that, you can keep a track and we can try to collaborate and communicate, which gives you more in terms of how we can get into a vehicle or get out of the vehicle, or connecting those highways through the technology. And again, getting into the, especially from the medical and healthcare, a lot more data is now prescribed and it is working a lot more in terms of applications part of industry. Recent insurance transformation, if you want to see from the corporates, where we can see 60% of the claims, they are able to give it within 2 hours, max to max 2 days. So which good olden days, it takes as much as time, and people do wait for so much time to try to compute on that. So if you talk about such huge volumes, everything today, as an intelligence, we are moving from on-premise data centers towards the enterprise cloud service, again getting into high density data center. Again, 3 different classifications of AI is what. One, if you are having more data but you want to collaborate only for your internal purpose, the on-premise data centers are used. If you want to collaborate more with the external customers globally and trying to use as much as 24/7, then enterprise cloud service services used extensively. And if you want to have more in terms of running that big data applications like Aadhaar, Central Railways booking, all those things comes part of the high density data center. Now the transformation is moving from public, private, hosted cloud towards the community cloud. That's what you can see difference, where customer is allowed to select the partner, customer is allowed to select the bank or finance or whichever you would want to do. In future, same will work out for his education or for his health or for his whichever support which is trying to use part of the retail or other expectations. The next gen, which is getting more towards something called community cloud, where the customer will decide with whom they can do it, where those people have to come out. You see the kind of data integrity and data cyber security and the kind of custom which gives more service in terms of hosting the provider part of the end customer. So that's where the intelligence which is playing and which is moving towards it and trying to use more in terms of high data volumes. So just don't see more as an intelligence, see more as the kind of backend which is again supporting similar things, trying to utilize part of it. That's where industry gets into that integration, services, large activities, small activities, specialist as IVS, which try to take it out and trying to use as much as part of the different databases. Today, if you see, good olden days, open source still used to be feared, but people use enough and try to bring out large, even government related, where we are able to use storage and infrastructure and trying to build as much as part of the solutions, which is giving multiple ways of things doing it out. So this all comes so far part of the, again, artificial intelligence, but again, intelligence requires backend in terms of ensuring the new product, new service, lower cost and higher quality. That's where you can see the different pressures used part of the intelligence. That's what the smartness which things works it out. We do have financial pressures, we do have internal pressures, we do have external pressures, we do have competitive pressures, we have environmental pressures. Even today, something of green agenda and carbon disclosure regulations plays a lot more part of IT, which is also again coming part of it. So you can diversify intelligence. So request for the people when they talk about intelligence, try to use part of the domain. So don't talk in future, at least only artificial intelligence. Tell people to say, to speak artificial intelligence in transport, artificial intelligence in medical, artificial intelligence in pharma, artificial intelligence in finance, artificial intelligence in customer centricity. So everything matters a lot. Everything has a domain. Again, everything domain, how we conclude part of industry, we say more service domain. People think service means IT. No, service means more of technological advancements, which should be part of service domain. Technology domain should focus more on changes in the legislation. They should talk about what things they should not do, what things are part of that which they are allowed to do and specific to do. And market dynamics will be more in terms of the financial domain, and the organizational domain will talk more about the customer value. So these all domains matters a lot. And again, people should talk whenever they bring into an intelligence part of industry, they should say, sir, I have been certified artificial intelligence in pharma, artificial intelligence in technology, in specifically on the transport. So it matters a lot. It gives you more in terms of identifying and trying to get best out of it and trying to focus more and trying to give specific in terms of information. And again, if you talk similar things, part of the software do have more of a smart enterprise. Again, we do have more in terms of everything will be having more of an access to plan, design and test, deploy, then manage and return to dispose. So the software, again, people should not sit in a comfort then they have to find saying like I've done something on DBMS, something I've not done on DBMS, that's what I'll do, I'll come to do it. So it has moved from OS and application mobility IoT towards getting into the kind of web presence, social media, virtualization. So this all again the kind of refineries part of intelligence which gives more in terms of software team. When people talk about software, they want to become a developer, they want to become an analyst, they want to use the technology. It's a neutral platform, neutral, and try to bring it out. As I mentioned, until the business originality is not fixed, you can generate a tool part of Google or a chat GPT, but we are not looking for a tool. We are looking for the solution for the industry, solution for the company, solution for the organization, specific for the local people, what they like and what they dislike. That's what the intelligence has to be focused and brought part of it. And the kind of smart enterprise do a lot more in terms of getting the big data explorations. As I mentioned, 360 view of applications matters a lot. So I'll conclude by using one company where they are using data with no data. As I mentioned, how Google data, which is there, it's a finance company where they do have 8 billion customers, where they don't have mobile phones, they don't use internet, they don't speak English. Still, they connected through the kind of technology, which what they did, their technology used an offline Google plotter and trying to utilize part of the organization, and 8 million customers data got converted. They plotted part of the Google and tried to utilize depending on that kind of expectations. They started using the product wise and what are the dashboards which they would want to use it. At the end, they try to define to find out like how we can utilize that information in terms of justifying an left brain, right brain concept of belief or a logic or a trust or a doubt, or how to try to sympathize or trying to get as much as on the context and rules, which they created something to do with belief and converting that behaviors, which converted the best benefits, which created as part of the business, which created as much as impact, which is across broad. So it could be a cultural expression, it could be a management expression, it could be a mythology expression. Still, they can bring out that value system, which was agreed and accepted, adopted globally, and try to do that, how the belief behavior will create that best business benefits. That's where you can see a lot more, which is creating part of the system. So, so far, it's like as much as what I could do is what I'm not able to get the presentation, but still I thought like I can give that what are bridging the skill gaps and what are the bridging the AI gaps, part of the artificial intelligence, which is very specific for industry and very specific for academics, and again bridging the gaps from industry and academics, and which try to use as part of the governance, which try to take it up. Looking forward for any specific questions or if you have any feedback, looking forward for that. But otherwise, like we feel a lot more can be done, part of it, and a lot more can be exposed, and every individual expectation, part of bridging the gaps between academics, industry, and the technology, which is more seamless now. And the expectation is what when rural India comes out with using the technology, that's a reality in terms of we will have large masses getting out of technology and the products, services, solutions, which gets into the multilingual, where people are able to compute, commute, and trying to collaborate and get that best. That's where you can see our nation getting into the great levels and trying to see more in terms of a secured operations, trying to bridge part of it. And again, 2030 to 2047, we can see a lot more in terms of education and the health detail getting converted part of every individual across the country. And we can see people who are going to study or work from global options where can get the best out of using such a digital data available part of our country. Thanks for all valuable time. Looking forward for questions.
Thank you very much, sir. I'll give the audience some meantime to put the questions. In the meantime, thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring talk upon bridging the AI talent gap. Despite the technical difficulties, your perspectives on building the skills, nurturing talent, and creating opportunities that have given us a deeper understanding on how we can shape a stronger AI-driven future. We truly appreciate your valuable insights and the passion you bring to empowering the next generation. Thank you so much, sir. Dear audience, if you have any question, please shoot it in the comment box. I believe we don't have any questions, sir. Thank you so much for your time and effort, sir. It was a pleasure having you here.
Same here. Nice talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today for this engaging webinar. We are truly grateful for all your time and enthusiasm. And a special thanks to our three distinguished speakers for sharing such valuable insights on the emerging trends in AI and technology. Your expertise and perspectives have given so much to reflect on and inspired us to look forward to the future with so much excitement and confidence. Your expertise and perspectives have given us so much to reflect on and has inspired us. Thank you once again, and we hope to see you all in our upcoming sessions. Special appreciation to SK Media Production for their excellent video and photo editing support. Our sincere gratitude also goes to our talented designers, Mr. Arul Raj and Mr. Jagadeesan, for their outstanding creative contributions. Also, sincere thanks for the efforts to Dr. RAJKUMAR sir. And thank you all for making this event a grand success. I request everyone to put up the feedback on the comment box so we can go through it. Thank you so much, and we will have our next webinar on a dynamic topic by August 2025. Thank you, and this brings us towards the end of the session. It was wonderful to host all of you. Signing off, Gisha Sridhar. Thank you so much.